Welcome again to Mentoring Moments with Cheryl. And this is something I'll be doing in the group on Mondays. Typically, I want to do it later in the day, but today I had a little scheduling conflict, so we're coming in a little earlier. Well, on Mentoring Moments with Cheryl, I really want to come in and inspire you, empower you, and support you in your journey. You know, I talk a lot about building your brand. I talk a lot about what it takes to build your brand. I talk about the mindset you have to build your brand. I talk about all of that. And that's kind of what we're going to focus on a little bit during these mentoring moments. You know, the behind the scenes inside stuff that has to really take place as you're building your brand and growing your business and becoming more visible in the marketplace. So today I wanted to really talk about how to get out of a mental rut. If you watched the video that I did on Friday, that kind of gives you an idea of where I've been in my own when I was in my own mental rut, and also how much that video resonated with women. I was blown away by the comments about the video and how much it resonated and how much, you know, people are saying you're telling my story, you know, you're peeping my card. I even got text messages on my phone from people that are like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like you told my whole business. You know, so I want to jump in to this content for today. And this is about how to get out of a mental rut. You know, and I thought this was really an appropriate follow-up to the video that I did sharing my own mental rut story, if you will. So what does a mental rut look like? You know, if you had to try to diagnose a mental rut, what does that look like? Well, I'm going to tell you what it looks like. It looks like you're on a hamster wheel and you can't get off. And you don't know why you're on the hamster wheel. It looks like possibly you're doing absolutely nothing. There's no forward movement. You're not going anywhere. You're kind of, again, that whole hamster wheel thing, you're staying in the same place, you know, but you're either doing a whole lot, you're not getting results, or you're absolutely doing nothing at all. Being in a mental rut looks a lot like procrastination. Putting things off. I'll get to it. Physical slump. You know, being in a mental rut sometimes shows up as you being in a physical slump where all you want to do is Netflix and chill. You know, you just want to sit and veg. You just want to do whatever. You want to do anything other than the things you should be doing that's moving your brand forward. Another thing that a mental rut looks like is potentially overwhelm. There's so much you have to do. You go, you know what? I'm not doing none of it. You know, and then you get into this routine of not doing any of the things that you really need to do to build and grow your brand, to expand your business, to grow your business, to do the things that you really should be doing out in the marketplace. Because here in today's world, you cannot be invisible and do business. You can't be invisible. You can't be inconsistent. You have to be visible and you have to be consistent. You have to offer value. You know, you have to show up with something that people really need that's going to help move their lives forward. So sometimes that can be overwhelming. You know, sometimes it's like, okay, this is just too much. And you might not know where to start. So then you just kind of shut it all down, or you block it all out, you know, or you go watch a movie instead, or you go do anything other than the things you're supposed to be doing. So those are kind of like the symptoms of what a mental rut might look like. And what what else could bring this on? What other things can bring on a mental rut? Excuse me. I'm going to share 3 things that might not be so common about why you wind up in this mental rut. The first thing is you self-sabotage. You heard me talk about procrastination, right? You heard me talk about, doing anything other than the things that you really should be doing to move your brand forward and to build your business, right? And to grow your income, because all of this is tied to your bottom line. I promise you, a mental rut will reflect itself in your bottom line. I promise you that. So self-sabotage is one of the things that brings on this mental rut. What is self-sabotage? It's the action that gets in the way of you achieving your goals. Self-sabotage, I'm going to say this again, is the action that gets in the way of you achieving your goals. So while we say, oh, it's procrastination, but we really have to look and define what procrastination really is. We just can't give it this blanket term. We have to look and say, what activities are we doing? What symptoms are we showing that are part of this procrastination? And this procrastination is a part of a bigger problem, which is possibly your own self-sabotage, your self-sabotaging ways. And we have them. Sometimes we unconsciously sabotage the very things that we say we want. We say we want success, but we won't do the things that we need to do to achieve success. That's sabotage. We say that we want to, make a certain amount of money in a month, but we really don't do what we need to do in order to make it. That really is sabotage. Especially if you know what to do. I'm not really talking to you. If you're really not sure what to do, then you need to go and find out what you need to do. But self-sabotage, that will really, really, really do you in. And again, the most common part of that is procrastination. Now, the next 2, you're going to be like, what? So the next one is self-oppression. Self-oppression. Okay? Self-oppression. You might not even heard this term before. I had not heard this term before Brendan Burchard. He used this term, and I was reading something, and it really blew me away. Because here's what he said about self-oppression. Self-oppression. Letting our own negative thoughts and actions restrict you. Letting your own thoughts and actions restrict you. You become the cause of your own situation. This one blew me away. I want to say this one again because I don't want you to miss what this really means and how it impacts you in your business and how it impacts you being in a mental rut. Self-oppression. Letting your own, this is the piece we got. This is the piece I want you to get. Letting your own negative thoughts and actions restrict you. You become the cause of your own situation. You then become the oppressor. You become the oppressor, to yourself, because you are taking these negative thoughts and you are living your life based on these negative thoughts, and you're making decisions based on these negative thoughts about who you are, about who you aren't, about what you can't do, about how you can't achieve something, how you can't be successful. Self-oppression. This is what's going on in your own head. How does it show up? This is one of the biggest ways it shows up. You break commitments to yourself. Commitments that you make to you break. Self-oppression. The third one is social oppression. You're like, Cheryl, what is it with this oppression? Hey. Hey, look. it all made sense to me as I was writing this out last night. It really all made sense to me because I could identify myself in each one of these. Self-sabotage, yep, I've done that. Self-oppression, absolutely, I've done that. Third one, social oppression. Social oppression? What the heck is social oppression? I'm going to tell you. It's still a form of self-oppression, but it includes other people. Social oppression basically is you trying to please other people, being a people pleaser. Women in particular fall into that because we're natural nurturers. So we want to please the people that are around us by any means necessary, at any cost. We want to be accepted and validated and all of those things by the people that are around us. But you cannot let that keep you from becoming everything that you are supposed to become. You can't let that keep you from letting your brilliance shine in the world. This is how that shows up. You're worried about what other people are going to say or what they're going to think about you. So you want to start a certain type of business, or you want to create a certain type of product, or you want to, there's something that you want to do that you know is going to be helpful and it's going to solve problems for people somewhere. But you go and ask people that aren't even going to buy your product what they think. They tell you, I don't think it's good. So then now you don't do what it is that you want to do because you really, ultimately, you want to please them. I see it all the time. People shop, this is how I see it a lot of times when I talk about social oppression. People come to me, they pay me money to help them with things, with their brand. And then they take it and they go ask people that aren't even going to buy. I'm like, at least ask the people, go ask past clients. Don't just go ask random people, or people that, you're friends with about your stuff. Because they may not get it. They might not understand. And especially if they're not going to buy, why are you asking them? Okay, so anyway, social oppression, pleasing others, worried about what other people are going to think and say about you. Social oppression, giving away your authenticity just to get along and be liked. Social oppression, giving away your authenticity just to get along and be liked. I know you've done it. I've done it. Thinking, I'm going to be too much, for people. I'm going to be too grand for people. I'm going to be too over the top for people. Not one of them, not nobody, not anywhere are they paying my bills. And that's not even the biggest point. The biggest point is you've been called to serve. You've been called for a purpose. God's placed you here in the world. You are his eyes, his hands, his fingers, his feet that roam on the earth, that's speaking into the lives of other people, that's showing up, inspiring and empowering other people. Why are you going to let what other people are going to say, think, or believe about you keep you from doing what you've been called to do? That is social oppression. Because you're trying to please people. You're trying to appease people. When you know in your heart of hearts there are things you should be doing. Okay? So, delaying the truth of who you are and the brilliance you bring to the world. That's social oppression, or denying. Denying the truth of who you are. Who are you for real? Do you know who you are for real? Have you taken an inventory of who you really are? That might be something you really want to do. Reconnect with yourself. Reconnect with your purpose. Reconnect with your desires, with your dreams, with your goals, with your hopes. Reconnect with those things and let those things guide you into your into the way you live your life on a daily basis. Look at those goals every day. If you know you're looking at your goals every day, you can't not do something about them. Okay? That's social oppression. Last thing about social oppression, selling your personal freedom for social approval. Selling your personal freedom for social approval. Somehow social media has amplified our need to be validated and approved. It has. I never say social media causes anything, because it doesn't cause things. It really only amplifies what's already there. And if you already have a need to be validated and be approved by others, social media then just amplifies that. So we wind up selling our personal freedom for social approval. We say we want to live a life of freedom. We want to be debt free. We want to be financially free. We want to be, whatever kind of free we want to be. We want to be it. But because it might not sit well, I see you, Kimberly, too controversial. Because it might be too controversial. It might be too cutting edge. It might be too over the top. It might be too under the radar. It might be, too anything. We won't step into it. And we won't do it. Even if there's a need for it. Even if there's a need for it. So how do you break free? How do you break free from, self-sabotage and social oppression and self-oppression? How do you break free from all of these things? Well, I'm gonna tell you. There are 3 things I want to tell you, and then I really want you to walk through this for real. The first thing you want to do is reclaim your purpose. Why are you really here? You heard me touch on that a little bit earlier. Reconnect with yourself. Reclaim your purpose. And I didn't even have reconnect with yourself here, so I'm going to add that as a bonus one. I have 3, so I just made 4. The first one is reclaim your purpose. Why are you here in the world? What have you been called to do? Who have you been called to serve? When I work with my branding clients, this is what we have to get clear about. We have to get real clear about who their message is for. You might not get to the depth that you would get, if we sat down and worked, but at least spend some time reclaiming your purpose and getting clear about why you're here in the world and who you're called to serve. Because everything that you've experienced in your life up until this point has brought you to this place. Your education, your experience, your expertise has brought you to this place, and you can use all of those to serve a greater purpose in the world that you've been called to. Number 2, recommit to your commission. Recommit to your mission. Recommit to your mission. So purpose is why you're here, okay? Mission is how you accomplish the purpose. So for me, I'll just give you an example. My real purpose is to help women own their brilliance. Really own their brilliance. My mission of how I do it, is I do it through branding, which is basically coaching. I do it through coaching. I do it through speaking. But branding really is the vehicle that I use to help women own their brilliance. Because I know for sure women aren't owning their brilliance. They're shrinking back. They're dimming down. They're not letting their lights shine. Okay? Recommit to your mission. How are you going to live out your life's purpose in the world? How are you going to bring that purpose to pass? How are you going to do that? Having a clear mission about how that's going to be done, and then redefine your strategy. So you're understanding your purpose, right? You're understanding your purpose and who you've been called to. Now you've recommitted to the mission, how you're going to get it done, and then you're going to redefine your strategy. What's your strategy? How are you going to move the pieces on the chessboard? Right? So you have this mission, but how are you going, what steps are you going to actually take to make it happen? And you remember the bonus one was reconnect with yourself. That's probably the biggest one. And that one just came while I was talking. Reconnect with yourself, your true self. Not the person that, you've been people pleasing and self-sabotaging and you've been under social and self-oppression. Not that person. The real person, the real you. The person that needs to show up and get things accomplished in an authentic way. All right. So I have an assignment for you. I always tell people I wouldn't be a coach if I didn't give you something to do. And I really want you to be accountable to this. I really want you to really take this to heart, because this right here, this is where the magic happens, if you will. This is where transformation takes place. When you really go inside your heart of hearts and you really commit to doing the work, this is how transformation takes place on the inside that manifests itself on the outside. So here's an assignment for you. So I want you to think. I want you to go in your mind, and I want you to I hope you're taking notes with this, because I'm getting ready to set the scenario for you. Or, of course, you could come back, watch the replay as well, but really take it in. So I want you to fast forward 7 years. Matter of fact, stop watching me. Don't watch me. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay. So I want you to fast forward 7 years from now. So it's the year 2024. It's August the 21st, 2024. And I want you to think about what your life is like on August the 21st, 2024. What do you do when you're waking up in the morning? What is your morning like? What is your day like? Who are you talking to? What are you doing? What are you eating for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner? Are you going out? Are you shopping? Are you coaching clients? Are you speaking? What are you doing on August the 21st, 2024? And I want you to write it out. I don't want you to think about where you are in your life right now. I don't want you to think about your bills. I don't want you to think about your responsibilities of today. I don't want you to think about the job you're at today. I don't want you to think about any of that. I want you to think about, what is my life like on August 21st, 2024? And I want you to write it the way you want to live it. I want you to write it the way you want to live it. I did this exercise some years ago when I was going through my coaching certification program. If your eyes are closed, you can open them now. When I was going through my coaching certification program, and this is one of the most amazing, things I had done, because I'd never done that before. We're always talking about vision boards, but I'm a believer in words. I love images, and I know we think in images, but even when I do my vision board events, I always have people write out what it is that they want. I attach goals to that vision board. So even though we think in images, it's our words that have power. So I want you to write out what your day is like on August 21st, 2024. I really want you to write it, and I want you to have fun with it. I don't want you to agonize over it. I don't want you to censor yourself. I don't want you to do any of that. I want you to write what flows, and I want you to make it good, yummy, juicy. I want you to write something that you can step into. It might take you all 7 years to get there, but I want you to write something that you can step into. something that it includes your purpose, it includes your mission, it includes all the things that are in your heart to do, the things that you might have been procrastinating about, the things that you might have been put on the shelf and totally forgot about. I want you to resurrect your dreams. I want you to resurrect your desires. I want you to, don't just skim through. A lot of times I ask in my questionnaire that I do when people are applying to, to have a discovery call with me, and I ask them about what's their ultimate vision. And people really don't give it a lot of thought. They write down a few things, but they don't really focus and pour in and give it the thought that it needs. But remember, your words have power. Write the vision. Make it plain. So when you see it, you can run with it. So that's your assignment from today's mentoring moment. It has been awesome. Let's see who is on or who's here.